Hello and welcome to the FinOps Monster Mash episode of Keys. Happy Halloween, or the day before Halloween, or Halloween if you're watching us on demand. Welcome everyone. This mask is too hard to speak in. I'll just hold it up randomly for my spooky time, but I've committed. Welcome everyone to our Halloween episode. We are excited to get going with I need to think of a clown name, because I'm joined by Mothman. Obviously, if people
Obviously.
didn't know. Savannah, where's Mothman from? You told me this earlier.
Yeah, so Mothman is a cryptid that was first sighted in West Virginia, in I think the 60s. And he's basically just a moth that looks like a man, and he's really spooky. And I'm really excited to be him for Halloween. So I'm glad to be here today as Mothman.
Yes. And I am a clown. That's it. I'm just a spooky clown. It's just as simple as I've got some love costumes and freaky in the comments. Any comments, questions come in about Halloween or about anything, to be fair. But today we're going to be using a FinOps optimization ideas, but with a bit of a Halloweeny themed mask over the top of them. Mask for these things. So we're going to be talking all about how to optimize your accounts and looking for the monsters that you find as a FinOps practitioner. But Savannah, let's kick off with our fun question. Have you had a frugal week or a splurgy week?
Oh, I think it's been pretty frugal. I have been kind of just hanging at home. So, yeah, as soon as we do the Costco run for the Halloween party, it will be significantly less frugal, but up
Yeah.
until now, it's been frugal. What about you, Steph?
Yeah. I think mine's quite frugal. I will be heading into. I've got a Halloween party next week that I'm running, so I feel like it's going to be getting into that. When I just kind of glazed over and I'm looking in the camera and I can just see you, I feel like I am just interviewing Mothman. We should have changed the names. We could do that.
There's still
Let's see.
time.
Tweak them. But let's get into the show. So, welcome everyone to the Keys to AWS Optimization, the show where we share stories, concepts, and solutions to help you unlock your spend at AWS. My name is Steph Gooch. I'm an essay advocate here to help you on your FinOps journey. Savannah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Savannah Jensen. I am a senior cloud FinOps architect on the optics team here at AWS. So work with really everything that's got a dollar sign associated with it, whether that is FinOps, optimization, or building your cost culture.
I love that. I love the little hello.
Hello.
If you have not seen one of these episodes before, especially a Halloween one, today we like to just be a bit more fun, a bit more loose. So please, any questions you have in the chat or any funny comments, we love to see them. But let's talk about the kind of the high level concept. So Savannah, you work with customers all the time. Someone said Savannah, who I don't see her. Yeah, sorry, Mothman yourself. When you speak to customers directly about your optimization journey, what are some of the what are some of the big picture challenges that you see that customers have when it comes to saving money in the cloud?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the common ones that I see a lot when I'm working with a customer who's kind of just getting started or really like revitalizing their optimization focus is where do we start? How do we make an impact quickly? And how do we get people to clean things up? One of I think the pitfalls of kind of being really excited and very innovative on the cloud is sometimes you have to do a little bit of cleanup afterwards. I think that really ties into a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today,
Mhm.
because there are a lot of spooky things that can happen in your AWS bill, and we want to make sure that you don't get a fright at the end of the month. And a big way to
Oh,
do that is making sure that you're kind of aware of what's out there and helping your developers clean up.
yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do when it comes to optimization. We'll touch on a couple of those today, but let's get, and then we're going to be calling them clean up after your, where's this one? Clean up after your first optimization fix him high. Yeah, who we attack first. So we're going to be going on a rampage. We're going to be finding these different monsters and hopefully taking them down and our spend along with it. We're going to kick off with the classic, the never ending, so many films about it. Everyone knows so many films about this, actually. I feel like whatever topic we choose, maybe not Mothman, but we're going to be going for zombies. So Savannah, talk us through what we mean by zombie resources.
Zombies. Yes. If you love zombie movies, you'll also love cleaning up zombie resources. What I mean by that when I say like a zombie resource is it's just something that's out there. It's floating, it's undead, it needs to be like fully dead. So you have to go find it. and make sure that those undead resources that are in your AWS environment aren't causing dollars to show up in your AWS bill. Um, and Steph, I think you've got a little account that we can take a look at some of this stuff in. Is
Yes,
that
let me bring.
correct?
We're in my account. So if you were to guide me through doing this, where would you take me first, Savannah?
Yes, absolutely. So when I think about zombie resources, I think about those EC2 instances that are sitting out there unutilized that somebody's just kind of like left the water running. Um, EBS volumes, snapshots that are just sitting out there, anything that's just kind of sitting and rotting, you know.
Mhm.
And the best way to find that all in one place, at least in my opinion, is by going to Cost Optimization Hub in
Okay.
the billing and cost management console. So, oh,
There's a
you
little
get
cheat way of getting there that I
whoa, you
love to
get to
do,
it different than I do. Okay, cool.
only
Yeah,
because I'm
easy
lazy.
pop in. Awesome. So, can you scroll up just a little bit?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we can filter this in a lot of different ways. If you pop down that little filter button, you can filter resource types, implementation efforts. Depends on how spicy you're feeling and how much time you have to dedicate to optimization that day, which I think is really helpful because you can come in here and kind of take a look at some of the low-hanging fruit, even if you only have 5 minutes. So let's
Yeah.
go to all implementation efforts for a second, and then let's click like low and very low,
Okay.
and then see what we get. So let's scroll down. Okay, so we've got that little red chunk that is delete idle and unused resources. That seems pretty zombie adjacent to me, Steph. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but that seems
I
zombie adjacent to
agree.
me. And
Yeah.
stop idle and unused resources. Maybe that's one of them like fast zombies, like in 28 years later or something, you know what
I
I
was gonna
mean?
say, like, how do we brand these zombies? Like,
Yeah.
which are the ones? What is like the slowest? What's that film? Oh no, they're still quite fast. Or am I thinking of Shaun of? Have you seen Dawn? There's Dawn of the Dead and Shaun of the Dead.
Yes,
Maybe it's
yes.
one of those ones.
I've seen both, please.
I've seen. You won't believe. I've actually seen Dawn of the Dead. Can you
Oh,
believe that,
really? That's a
folks who
surprise
don't
to me.
know? What and people in the chat, what's your favorite zombie film? Please throw in some suggestions. Would love to know. We'll do this whole thing, zombie films that you love, or like the I saw it on a bus when I was a kid. I was a child for people who
What?
don't know. And I was on a bus, a school bus. I'd gone with my parents who are teachers, had taken a school to Paris, and I got to go with them. But they put on, and if you remember
Mm.
back in the day, you had those tiny TVs that would be at the front, and somebody who clearly was over 18 put on Dawn of the Dead. And I still remember it because my little over the head thin headphones could not cover up the sound, or the little girl that comes and kills her parents. Maybe it's getting too graphic. Okay, people in the chat are putting Walking Dead 28 Days Later is a classic. Last of Us,
Last of
Mushroom
Us.
Zombies, excellent. Keep them coming. We're having fun today. Throw some zombie chat. Okay, so
Yeah.
from here we have our news resources. How do we find out more?
Let's go ahead and click that view opportunities button at the bottom of the screen, Steph. Wow, 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 lots of zombies here to clean up. Amazing. Okay. Go ahead and select one of those EBS volumes, the little like radio button next to it.
This one.
Awesome. So as
Here we
soon as you
go.
select, it pops up and kind of tells you everything that's going on. You can like super easily see in that little like left-hand sidebar that there's really not a lot going on in there. We got zero throughput, really not a lot of anything. This is classic zombie right here for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Go ahead and click that open in Compute Optimizer console tab
yeah. And as
right
you can
there.
also see, that was an IO1. So that is old and expensive.
Ooh.
That
Oh
is
no,
the
no.
what's the one from the new 28 years later? The like alpha zombie. That's what it
Oh
is.
yeah, the alphas. Yes,
Not that I've seen that film, but I know about
I've seen it.
the classic. Okay, cool. So we have this. And where's the idle criteria? Oh, here it is.
Yes. So you can understand why that's idle. Computer Optimizer really does a great job of letting you know why it's flagging things, what it's finding, and also how to go get rid of it. Can you scroll up a little bit? Where's my ABS console button? That little
Oh, there.
thing at the top that pops you directly into EBS console, it's basically like giving you the the means to kill that zombie right now. So you can go ahead and delete it as long as you're confident that it is not being used, which honestly, looking at this, I'm very confident that this thing is a zombie and should be laid to
Yeah,
rest, like
we can just hit that delete
permanently.
button in there. I will
Yeah.
not do because it's my thing. So someone has put in the chat, I think this is funny, Zombieland as a film, and
Oh
then
yeah,
someone has
that
put
counts.
double tap those
Double
idle
tap.
resources.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Good connection. It's brilliant. So yeah, you can remove these, and if you see any more, like it does also suggest creating a snapshot might be the ideal things. Someone's put no zombie volumes. But yeah, you can create a snapshot if you need to. Always check with the people that own the account. I think is probably the big tip. But go with the data and start to delete these things, and start with big ones that are most expensive, and accounts that are non-production, I always say.
Yes, absolutely. And Compute Optimizer and I guess Optimization Hub, the filters that we showed you earlier, we do have the ability to filter down by account as well. So if you want to just look at your non-prods to start, that's usually a great place to essentially like get your feet wet a little bit and start
Yeah.
double tapping those zombie resources, you know?
Yeah, I love that. That's the new phrasing for how people should FinOps. If people see us out and about and you've done some optimization from this episode, just say to us, we double tap them volumes. That would be amazing. At reInvent, if you see Savannah and I, this is what I want from people. And I inevitably will forget by then to be like, what?
I will not be Mothman at reInvent. I apologize in advance.
If you know that about us, and then that would be excellent. Always a call for action if anyone wants to buy me M&Ms at reInvent, just to say.
Oh, Steph's a
always
big
get that
M&M
out
fan.
there. Always got to get these out. Brilliant. Anything else on zombie resources?
No, I think let's move on and do some clowning around, don't you say?
Did you notice that I changed our names?
That one get you a little bit?
A little bit clowning around. What are some scary clowns? There's obviously
Pennywise, the OG.
Okay.
So new exciting news in my life. They've recently started a It TV show called Welcome to Derry that's coming out. So that's gonna be what I'm doing for a while.
Is that where it's set?
Yeah, it's so
In Ireland? No.
No. It's in Maine.
Oh.
Just like everything Stephen King, it's in Maine. But it's basically like a prequel.
Okay. That is all good. I think he's planning around, which is fun.
Chucky's another one, I think. Well, he's like a doll, but he's like kind of a clown. I don't know. I feel like clowns don't get a lot of movies, but they're like in the ethos.
Yeah, they're just like out and about, these things. So clowning around. So when we talk about clowning around, we're talking about people who are Clown Without Stripes, but different vibe to Derry Girls. Yeah, that's when you said Derry. I was like, I didn't know that Derry was scary. But yeah, I've misunderstood the concept. So when we're talking about this topic of clowning around, we're trying to think, what would a clown be? And we're like, clowns trying to be silly, and that's the thing we're going for. So resources that are very silly. Of course, we're going to be talking about idle resources. So right sizing resources. That's fun. That's what I'm trying to multitask, but it's difficult. So when we think about right sizing, we're thinking about people who are huge things and not using enough capacity and not using all their capacity. The analogy we had that we were quite proud of was you got to treat your resources like a clown car. You can fit so much more into those EC2s or any of your other kind of resources that are instance based. People don't take as much capacity as they should. We want you to check your resources and optimize them to use more, especially if you can use things like Graviton for those instances, because the big thing, the reason why we love pushing Graviton is not just because of the price element, so it's 20% on EC2 cheaper than Intel, but there's an extra 20% performance. And what that means in it's complex but simple terms is they use something called multi-threading. So previously, when you would on an Intel instance, when you get to about 60% CPU, you start to have performance issues. But when it comes to Graviton, you actually could push all the way up to 90% before you have that. So you get that extra chunk of performance, meaning the applications will still remain speedy and you'll get all the benefits from this.
The way that I always say it is you can run them way hotter and it's still fine.
Yeah.
So
This is someone's, but like using a fun house mirror to make things look smaller.
Exactly.
Someone said they're terrified. I've never heard of this. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, I've heard of this. It's not for you,
Okay.
Steph. I'll tell you flat out, it's not for you. Steph does not like scary movies, everyone, and does not
Yeah.
like gore. So that one's definitely off the table.
No. I do not. This is very true. Okay. Let's go on to some clowning around.
You didn't get me this time. You got me
I
so good
know.
with that ghost a couple years ago.
If as a fun thing, a few years ago when we did this episode, I kept bringing up a scary picture and it made Savannah very, very scared. And I was still trying to do that. I always wonder if she's going to try and do it to me.
She made me lean in. She made her screen really small, so I got really in there, and then she flashed it. I was like, oh gosh.
Brilliant. So clowning around. So let's go on to Compute Optimizer. So people have seen this many times from us, but always good to remind folks that it exists and how to use it. So you can go either from Cost Optimization Hub or just direct to the service, and you can see how much you can save. The two big things are looking at your resources down here that are over provisioned. So I have this web app that I use, and at the moment I'm using a T3 X large. It's a small web app, and I definitely need to be paying for all of that. And you can see this by things like my utilization metrics. So I am only ever using a very small amount of utilization. Sometimes it picks up when I kind of initialize the instance or it does need patching, but most of the time it's quite small. So I could definitely drop down this. In this account, I think I also have memory metrics on one of these. Which is one I have memory metrics on? I think it's this one. There you go. So because I have my CloudWatch memory agent in it, I can also see my memory metrics. If you do not have memory metrics in your instances connected to Compute Optimizer, it will never show you the real optimization you can do, because it's never going to do a recommendation that isn't the same memory, versus if you have the memory information, it will kind of downsize even more. So recommend, even if you don't want it all the time and you're just kind of building things out, it's worth testing with a memory metric to see, do you actually need all this capacity? And if not, then you can always like downsize later. Some people will put clowns are terrifying. EC2 right sizing is also terrifying. Yes, this is a big thing I think people get concerned with. These recommendations, they come from data. We give you the data. We don't want you to we're not making things up, so you can check them out. But I think with right sizing, the challenge that we see with people a lot is that they are scared to start, and it therefore means that they have this backlog and they're just like, oh, I'll get to it later. 2 tips, and then Sana, I'll come to you for any tips for it, is number 1, start small. So if you have any infrastructure as code files, any defaults you set, just set it as the smallest one, and then you can always scale out. But it becomes a very conscious effort to scale out, versus if you always have a big one and you never use enough, it's an extra piece of work to go backwards to try and do it. And then the other thing is check regularly. So you should always be looking. There are new instance types that come out all the time that you might want to utilize, and you should be reviewing your utilization of your applications anyway, whether that's for security or general kind of process. Look then and say, okay, can we tweak these things? Your applications hopefully are built in a way that they can handle this kind of interruption and change. If you have something that's a pet, that's a whole different issue that you need to be worried about, but you should be able to spin up these instances and tweak and change them, and it shouldn't matter that much. But Savannah, any suggestions from you?
Yeah, I think the first one that you mentioned is really the top tip that I love to see people implement is start small and then allow people to scale up if they need to. The other, I guess, like if I have to do something new, the other thing to keep in mind is you can customize and tweak the compute optimizer output parameters. So if you have a specific instance family or a set of instance families that you know that your organization likes to use, or possibly is part of your instance savings plan fleet, you can go in there and kind of turn those dials a little bit and make sure that the recommendations that are being output to switch to are within kind of that like green light grouping of hardware that you can use. So
yeah,
definitely check
very
it.
good. Yeah, there's always, again, it's starting. Don't do any of these recommendations about people who own the account, but there's always a flexibility. You can tweak it back. You can put these things back if they don't work out. It's worth trialing and error. And I think the stat from Rick is, I don't know if it's changed, but it used to be that 8%, the average was 8% utilization of compute. I feel like I used to avoid people. I'm like, never start. I want to challenge everyone on this session, everyone who's watching, whether on demand or live, go and have a look and try making one change to one of your instances. It won't be and shouldn't be as scary as Mothman's costume. It should be simpler than that. Someone's put you guys look perfect, thank you so much. We try for the Halloween, and if you haven't seen, go and check out all of the other keys to AWS optimization Halloween specials. There's been one every year for the past 4 years. The costumes have got progressively more dramatic. Yeah, we didn't start like this, can you imagine? I think I just wore a t-shirt. Okay, so that is it for anything else you want to say about clan around resources?
No, let's move on to the vampires.
Okay, go for it. So what are we classifying as vampire resources?
Yes, I think we had fun coming up with this one for sure. When we say an AWS vampire, I'm thinking of a vampire that's just sucking hourly spend all the time, no reason, just like always hungry, and kind of like very invisible as well. Can't see him in a mirror like a vampire. And of course, I'm talking about some of our lovely data transfer services. So specifically, NAT Gateway and VPC endpoints are the two that we have kind of classified within this vibe. Because usually
Yes.
they're a little bit harder to like track down and understand what's going on. It's harder for us to alert on them to see if there's something happening that shouldn't be happening there. So they can really go undetected for a long time and really eat into those bills.
Yeah, when we were coming up with this, we were like, what is something that's kind of hidden and that people don't always suspect they can live among us without even realizing that people are taking this these the monies from you. Okay, so should we go into a quick demo for it?
Yes, let's go.
Well,
Go
we'll
into the
use
console. You almost got me, but no. I was
got it.
prepared.
Yeah. We also had a question. What's your favorite vampires that they're not too scary? They're not that scary. I've been listening to a Buffy rewatch thing recently,
Mm.
so Buffy is a classic thing, and as well, I have to think Twilight, the classic. But what's your favorite zombie? And people put in the chat, what's your favorite zombie? What am I saying? Vampire film. So Mothman.
Yes. We did a What We Do in the Shadows Halloween party last year, which excellent. It's a comedy, so it's Steph approved, safe for Steph to watch, but it's very dry humor, and it's just about a group of vampires that live in the present day. And then I gotta say Nosferatu. I think somebody in the chat also said Nosferatu. We saw it in IMAX. It's incredible. It's so good. Big,
Yeah.
big win for mustaches everywhere as well. Like excellent film.
Well, Every says they're in Nosferatu. They're in the
Yeah.
first one. That's in it. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yep. That's like the first vampire.
No, that Jeff was in it. He's in. But did you know that the film
That was the
Nosferatu?
first time.
Oh, I misread that, Jeff.
Hmm.
I thought you said you were in it, and I was so confused. It's my dyslexic brain. I didn't realize that. That's cool. It's trying to do so many different things at once. Okay, we also had a couple of comments which are very funny. Someone just asked, "Can I tag a picture of this on LinkedIn?" Tag us.
Yeah. Tag me.
Would love that. Okay, let's someone also said Mothman, cosplayer said Mothman sounds uncannily like Savannah. No,
You'll
that's
never
just
know.
that. Oh,
That's
someone
just
says
what
Disney Haunted Mansion. That's so cute. I love
That's a
that.
classic. That is a classic film.
Halloween Town is the one I always used to watch when I was a kid that we had. Anyway, optimization. So we're talking about these. How do we go about finding these? And we're going to do this in Kudos, but how would you go about it?
Yes. So as we've mentioned, the invisibility of data transfer can definitely make it a little bit hard to like track down. The Kudos dashboard and a lot of the pre-built visuals that we've got in some of the CID framework really has some helpful stuff that can help you get down to what's actually happening with your data transfer. So Steph's got the data transfer summary up here. Can you scroll down just a little bit?
Yeah, let's go to the idle
Let's go.
ones. Is that what you're going?
Yes.
So let me
Yeah.
move down
I
here.
was gonna go to the like flow chart for a second.
Oh, bear with this one.
This guy. Yeah, I always find this is really interesting to look at because it really shows you like what is going where. And that is incredibly difficult to visualize within just the console itself. And it's not like something that we have a really great solution to in Cost Explorer at this point either. So I always like to like start this with a sanity check of like, hey, let's like visualize what's actually happening with your data transfer using this graph. Is anything super surprising to you here? Like if you're sending a ton to like a region that you barely use, like what's going on? Maybe we should go take a look at that and figure out what's happening. But yeah, keep on going to the idle.
Yeah. And small plug, if anyone's heading to reInvent and wants to come to a session where we use the cur to specifically find those bits of data transfer that you're not expecting, come along to my session with Andy, which is COP 401, all about optimizing it. Now, where's my idle? Here we go. Idle resources this is the one we want.
Yes, this is absolutely the one we want. And we've got our lovely readout of idle resources with no traffic for the last 30 days, complete with their cost as well. This is looking pretty vampiric. Sucking 4,100, yeah.
Yeah,
4,000
love
a
it.
month. That's with no usage. He's just living in his
Down.
vampire castle up on the hill, just consuming that AWS bill. You got to get rid of him, or at least go look and see what's happening.
Go and investigate these things. These are pre-built in the dashboard. So if you this is in the Kudos dashboard, scroll down. You can also filter. We specifically left this one on load balancers, but I know I'm quickly filtering. But if you filter all the way, it's always a maze to find the tick box. I've said it's so easy. There we go. It's got to go further down. You can choose which resource. I think people miss this sometimes. So when you're looking at the network resource utilization, you can choose between any of these things and it will find the different ones that fall under this. So you can't see them all at once. So make sure to go. It's the cup under. This looks really fun.
It's morning here stuff. Let me drink my tea in peace.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, Jeff also said he was in Room 6, another horror film.
Have to check it out. Seasonal.
Yeah, we'll have to look. We love. But yeah, go and check these things out. The intelligence dashboards, we do episodes on all the time. We'll, if Richard wants to share the link in the chat, that would be great. But the big thing about it is it uses the cost and use report to pull this data in. So it's looking for, like Savannah said, resources that have spend every month. They're very constant, and then they would have an additional spend for the data transferred. But if they don't, that's how we know they're idle. So they are a bit separate, so that you can focus in on that spend a little bit. But yeah, get rid of those.
Somebody in the chat saying it is actually difficult to visualize data transfer. I think like it's hard to conceptualize at first too. I think the Kudos dashboard and a lot of the things this stuff was showing really has a lot of like presets that can help you understand what flavors of data transfer you're getting, where they're going. So definitely check it out. I always recommend folks like scroll through and look at everything that's in there if they're investigating a new service, and really just take some time to like look at each of the visuals and try to understand what it's telling you.
Perfect. All right, should we move on to our next one?
Yes.
Okay, the next one. Oh, Richard's put 30 in the chat.
Werewolves.
Werewolves, pesky werewolves. So when we think about werewolves, and we have spent time thinking about how these connect. So yeah. Werewolves, what happens to a werewolf? They come out on a full moon. How often is a full moon? Start about a days, but let's say it's a month. So what are charges that occur monthly? They have that big impact, then you don't really see them afterwards. And when we think about werewolf, we're thinking about licenses. So with licenses, they are going to be paying a fixed fee per month, and then you use the service. So we're thinking of things like QuickSight and Q are two big ones that we have at the moment. You also do have licenses for applications or other services, but in this case, we'll just be focusing on those kind of users. We just showed you QuickSight. We recommend having a QuickSight license to build things like that. The challenge is people allow everyone to have an authored license, which is more expensive. And so that is I think it's $18 a month if you buy it for a year, or $24 per month if you do it on demand, which is great. The challenge is, when people buy it for everyone, they're not really realized. I think, Savannah, didn't you have a case where this happened?
Yeah, when a customer was essentially like setting up QuickSight access for folks, they just accidentally gave everybody a developer license, and it was expensive. Very easy to fix though. So that is absolutely like a quick one to get over. I think like again, just be thoughtful about who's actually going to be in there tinkering, who just needs to look at it, or if you can send these dashboards or some of the visuals like in push notifications via email.
Yeah, the tracking of it is, I think we're hoping to get these things brought into some other tools that we maybe mentioned. But if you would like to be able to track your QuickSight or your Q licenses, why not raise a product feature request either in your console up in the right hand corner with the support, or you can speak to your account manager or your TAM and they can raise one for you so you can get better visibility. We love to hear from customers on this, so please do. But we want to have a look. Notifications fatigue sounds scary. Agree. There is risk with kind of spamming that thing. But what we really encourage is doing a bit of an inventory is what I think, especially if you've had things like QuickSight for a while. Go and have a look. What licenses have you had? And I'll show you in a sec how to look at this and who hasn't logged in. And then the other element is, if you can get any data with Amazon Q, you can see what kind of questions. If people have been given a license, you can also say, are you actually using this? Do you need it? And delete them from it. But the good thing is you can get it back. It's quite easy. The thing I would say is if you remove someone, and Savannah, correct me if I'm wrong, if you remove someone from QuickSight, their like resources have to go to someone. So for example, if I wanted to get rid of my account, but Savannah still had access, she would get all of it. You have to set up that process. So think about, if you are deleting people, where is that going? Who's going to manage it? It should go to one place so that you can reallocate it back if they do need that access.
Yeah, internally, in our internal portal, I do this all the time. If I like don't have access to somebody's stuff, I'll delete their user and just like grab it, and then I can share it with them again when they recreate their user.
Excellent. Yeah, you need to have a plan. The big thing is have a plan when you delete or remove any of these, or if we take down any of these baddies.
Let's show. I thought of another werewolf when we're done.
Oh, okay, cool. There's my werewolf pick. I downloaded it too quickly for the
Ooh.
Adobe stock, so looks quite cool.
Scary.
So let's have a look first of all in QuickSight, and I'm going to try and do this live. Let's go into manage quick suite, manage users. So this is how you see it. So if you have your QuickSight account, quick suite, you go into your manage users, and over here you can see the last active date and see if there's anyone. So on here, okay, all of my users have been recently active. They've actually used it in the last kind of month or month and a half, which is great. If you see anybody who hadn't been using it since like 2023 or earlier this year, they're the people you're going to want to go and speak to and maybe adjust their access. It is at the moment a manual task. I think there is a workaround. There's a blog, but it is something we should recommend going to. The other thing to do is you could use something like a service control policy to prevent people from having access to QuickSight in other accounts. So you could say, if you want to do QuickSight, it's in this account. You make it the QuickSight account. People have to use S3 replication, maybe for data, or kind of connect things along if you're using any other data sources. But that way you can centralize your license usage and people are not doubling up. Because we had that a lot when I was a customer. I didn't realize that it was a per license fee in every account. I thought it was just one. And because I was using it in lots of different places, we were just spending loads on this resource and weren't aware. Now, another one we said was Amazon Q. So in your Q developer, if you are using Q developer and assigning people's access through Identity Center, you can't see them in here. You'll be like, where's all my data? So what you can do is go to your group, and this is how you see. So I've got my QuickSight group, Amazon Q group, and I've assigned these people. What I recommend is in the settings of Amazon Q is you can put, where's my usage? I can create this user activity and I can set up an S3 bucket and it just dumps my activity in there. In there, it collects data of the usage of the pro features the paid for features of Amazon Q developer. You can correlate this data with your active subscriptions and say, okay, well, this person has a subscription. They've never used the advanced features of the paid for Amazon Q developer. Could we get them to go back down to the free version? All you need is a Builder Studio account. Recommend checking it. They're going to build a Studio account. All you need is that, and they get free access. I can use it in ID. You can use it in QCLI. the difference of that fee, if people aren't using those features, you might as well take it away. And then if they need it, they need to prove a point. There's can be requests and things like that. So that is what I would recommend doing. But Savannah, what was your other werewolf in the pack?
Yes. So this is not so much like a resource, but it is something that was like it's a super common question, and it is the kind of RI data structure and how it looks if you have recurring charges. So if you purchase a no upfront RI of any type, um, all of that recurring charge is going to hit on the first of the month in like one big pile if you go into Cost Explorer and sort by day. So that can be really scary,
Mhm.
especially if it's the second of the month and you go in there and you're like, oh my goodness, how are we already spending this much money? So definitely remember to sort by charge type in Cost Explorer to see if that's what it is. And if you want to get rid of the werewolf forever, check out savings plans, because the way that we've kind of like restructured the savings plan data is you will actually see that hourly charge associated with each hour of the month. So it's a lot easier to see essentially like what that daily run rate is without that big beginning of the month cost spike obfuscating it a little bit. Savings plans are your silver bullet. Thank you for that, person in the chat.
Oh wait, did someone come up with that? Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
brilliant. Saving plans, so better. Someone's also said favorite werewolf film is the Shaky Dog Disney. I don't know what that is. I love that. I love. Oh, my favorite werewolf is Werewolf Project. I love all these film recommendations. If I was into horror films, I'd be collecting all these. But any fun ones that are Steph appropriate, please also put those in the chat. Excellent. So with those werewolves, look out for your spend. What is coming up? A singular thing every month. And then go and investigate and ask that question. Do you need that? Are you paying for things? Do you have duplicates of these things? Go and check those out. All right. Also, just a reminder, any comments, questions, please put them in the chat. And wherever you're watching, subscribe so that you can keep up to date. Oh, what was that? Did you do that?
No, I accidentally made up my windows go away.
Oh.
Did I get you?
I was like, subscribe, and you were like, darkness. That was really funny. We just constantly trying to scare each other. So please subscribe wherever you are. There are more serious episodes of this show, but today we're coming up to Halloween, so we're being silly. Right, let's keep going on our Monster Mash. Savannah, on to the next one.
All right. Next we've got Banshees. I feel like I don't hear a lot from the Banshees in modern horror, and maybe we should fix that. This really ties back to what we were. The Banshee community is underrepresented in film. Anyway, this ties a little bit back into what we were chatting about earlier with networking. And when I think Banshees, I think screaming, and then I think chatty data. So those little chatty NAT gateways that are yelling at each other all the time. And the visual that Steph showed in the Kudos dashboard before is a really good way to like think about this a little bit and get a handle on it, see what's in there, see where are these guys chatting to? Is that appropriate? The other thing that I always think of when I think of chatty data is if you have like a CloudFront source somewhere that's just pumping data all over, like definitely have an understanding of what should be happening there, and look at essentially where CloudFront is sending stuff to, because that can be like a hard one to spot or a hard one to get to the bottom of, depending on what that is doing.
Yeah, it is. It is always tricky. I'm trying to pull up a visual that would can help us. What month are we in? Oh, we're in October. It's showing me. Well, I've forgotten what the filter is that Andy. Oh, it's EC2 other. That's what we want. EC2 other. Let's see what this looks like.
EC2
other. NAT gateway bytes. So there's. Let me bring this up. So when we're talking about Banshees, this is creepy.
Just yelling, just hollering, man.
Just hollering. Me saying hollering is also quite funny. So when we're doing this, we see a lot of data transfer. Like you said, one way to look at it is for NAT gateway hours and NAT gateway bytes. Similar kind of things. The hours is the thing we just spoke about with the vampires, but the bytes is what we're talking about now. So you need to make sure that there's also a chat about Banshees in the thing. I think it's more of an Irish thing. But I don't know. Do you guys have Banshees in the States? I've heard of them, like the Banshees of Inisherin, but I don't think that's about scary things.
Yeah, I don't know. My mom was really into horror, so I feel like I know about most of the monsters.
I've gotten very confused by trying to keep up with the chat, and someone's put salt and vinegar favorite crisps. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that sounds terrifying if you have high cholesterol. So check the. Thanks for bearing with us, folks. We love it. So have a look in here. You could. Someone said GP2 is very scary. That's true as
It
well.
is. Oh, that's
Is
actually
someone laughing?
terrifying to
Oh,
me.
that is. Yeah, that's it. It's for demos, guys. It's for demos. So yeah, have a look at the also in here. What I will say is I don't want to give away Andy's part of our reInvent presentation, but make sure you subscribe while you're watching, and we'll make sure to share a version of our Talk on the Keys channel which dives into data transfer costs so that you can actually drill down and say, where is the spend? Who is talking to who? And is that relevant? Because there's some cases where people are using these kind of services and you don't need to pay for that data transfer in certain situations. But yeah, anything else on this, Savannah?
No, I think we can move on. I'm conscious of the fact that we're
Someone's put, or is this put? This dashboard is actually murdering my being. I think it's because of how much spend I have. Guys, it's a demo account.
yeah.
Don't worry, it's meant to look
This
bad. It's
is
meant to look nice.
this is the naughty account that we spin up specifically to show you what not to do. So don't worry, that's not what Steph does in her personal life.
Yeah, they're just examples, just examples. Okay, on to my next one, which is Frankenstein. I wonder, can anyone in this one I was like proud of when we came up with it, but I wonder if anyone in the chat can think about what Frankenstein would be, because that's it. And also, people in the chat, if you can think of a monster that we haven't done for a service, please put that in the chat. I'd love to hear some suggestions. We want to. Someone's put comes out of my salary. Yeah, all the spend I have on these crazy resources. Yeah, let us know. Yeah, so Frankenstein, let us know in the chat. I want to hear some suggestions. While people are doing suggestions, Savannah, people go unused certs for the auto renew. Okay,
yeah.
The thing I was going to say was, which of the costumes that you've worn for Halloween's in the last few years is your favorite?
Ooh. I think I'm really excited about this one. I'm all about the now, honestly. The lights, I'm so happy about it. But probably my most used one is Guy Fieri. I've I've worn that so many times. I never expected to wear it as many times as I've worn it, but it's like such a fun costume and such a fun bit to do. It's quite easy. So I think that would have to be like pretty high up on the list, but Mothman's fun. I'm gonna go walk around and lurk in some corners in the dark this weekend and really spook people, so that's exciting.
That's
What about you,
excellent. I can't
Steph?
wait to. Or I feel like I'm really excited about that. I've got 3 costumes this year. I've got this. I'm being a pirate for my party, and I'm being Ken I'm bringing out the Ken outfit. Which
Ah,
again, me and
yes.
Savannah, I don't know if it's on anywhere. It's on social media, on our personal social media. Is she was billing conductor Barbie, and I think I was Ken. We did like a mini photo shoot just at an offsite because we had that
Yeah.
outfit, so we loved it. But yeah, so I'm going to be Ken. I bought like a shirt, a sleeveless like denim jacket, and I
Oh,
have my FinOps
yes.
shirt. So we're going
That's some.
hard for it. I FinOps bandana as well. So okay, let's get back to
Oh,
it. So
wait.
Frankenstein.
This
What?
this one's kind of sad. Look in the chat.
What? Unused
Unused
instances of.
instances.
Oh, let's bring that up. Unused instances, something you bring to life that abandoned. It's the story of Frankenstein. That's way better.
That's
That's
a
more
really good
legit.
one.
Touching.
My
Moment.
heart. Anyway,
Someone did get it right. It's CloudWatch. So
it's CloudWatch.
it's CloudWatch. So the reason why we chose CloudWatch is because Frankenstein is pulled together from lots of different things. And when it comes to CloudWatch spend, they are so many different things. They all overlap. They all have their own benefits. They come from something important, but if they're not used properly, you end up with a bit of a monster. So a couple of things. Let's go over some CloudWatch examples. So one thing is, I'm just going to run down the list of them. So alarms, if you have any alarms that have insufficient data, you are paying for that alarm and you're not going to get anything from it. It's not connected to anything proper and you're paying the fees for it. If you saw our episode, I now can't remember time. I think it was last week or the week before we did the episode on CloudWatch, or the week before last. there's some new releases that mean if you're going to have an alarm, you can use the new multi-metric alarm. So you need one for multiple different resources. That is going to save you a bunch of time and money for tracking your alarms and their alerts. So please go and check that episode out. Log groups, you guys know this one. It's one of my favorites to discuss. people that do not have any kind of retention policy. So this kind of never expire. As a reminder, AWS, if they make you a log group for things like Lambda, we will set it to never expire because we don't know what you're going to do with the data. So we have to leave it to you to decide. If you make the log group, you can decide what happens to the data. So make sure that you check it, you save it to something that's relevant for your application. How often are those logs coming through, and change that. The other thing is using the log class. Do I have any? So I've got an infrequent access in here. So you can choose infrequent access for log groups that don't need that much in them. So you lose things like anomaly detection, data support, and sensitive data. If you don't care about that, why are you paying for the standard version? The second to last one I'll jump on is let's see if we can find one. So we're going to want to look for things that have a lot of logs that are not useful. So if we find CloudWatch Lambda, let's see if this one will work. And let's change my time frame off. So if we want to do something, let's do 4 weeks and run. So this is all default setting. I haven't made anything in here. It's going to look for any logs that I have in this account. And so I've got so many logs, thousands of logs.
Oh,
and
stuff.
Of course, this is bad.
That's a big Frankenstein.
That's the big bad step. But so they're all the same. So there's duplicates in here. So we have the same logs in our like no severity type is the same in our debug and in our info. So whoever made this has been spitting out logs that are exactly the same, and I'm tripling my spend based on this. So you want to go and have a look for these kind of patterns of idle and unused data that makes things, when you actually need to problem solve, so hard to find because you're kind of sifting through all of the garbage. So go and have a look at that. The other one is, where is it? I want to look for the metrics. Last one is for paying for different metrics. There's a bunch on this. What I'll do is it's too much to go into, I think, for the time we have left. I'll grab a link for a previous episode we've done all about CloudWatch and the different optimizations you could do. But Savannah, any other things you like to talk about with CloudWatch your customers?
I think you covered it. Honestly, you hit all the big ones in terms of like log retention and making sure that you're not collecting data that you don't need. So beautifully done. Thank you, Bargain Bobo.
Do you like my name, by the way?
Yes, I do.
Okay, brilliant. All right, let's pop those links in. Let me just check in the chat. Have we got anything? Mary Shelley was 20 when she practiced Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley is actually super metal. You should go look her up, everybody. She's crazy in a cool way. But yeah, exciting.
All right, we got 2 more left to go. This time it's over to the Mothman themselves. What is your optimization opportunity?
Yes, so the Mothman is like a harbinger of doom. Usually thought of as. And I thought of a couple AWS things that are also maybe a sign that something somewhere is not going as it should. 2 big ones. If you have like continuous creation of unattached EBS volumes, like if you go into Compute Optimizer like we showed, and you've got some EBS volumes and you clean them up and you're like, great, we're done with that. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, there's more unattached EBS volumes. That means that there's something somewhere that is not configured how it should be and is creating EBS volume. So I always think of that as like a red flag. It's like a canary in the coal mine, like clean them up, but then go figure out why you have them in the first place. And then the other big one is incomplete multi-part uploads for S3. So if you are essentially like uploading a large file to S3 and it portions it up and you're only kind of getting a couple portions of it all the way into the bucket or all the way where it's going, you're still paying for the things that kind of made it there, but you can't use them because they're incomplete. Good way to find these is through Storage Lens. I don't know if do we have a nice visual for that in your account? Yeah, but that's another sign, like 1, clean them up, but 2, definitely go check out why that's happening, because the why behind some of these problems is way scarier than just being able to go in and delete them oftentimes. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Look at this beautiful bucket trends report.
Yeah, you just need to change this one to incomplete multiple upload bytes, and you'll see it. So we can see that these two buckets, this is so not what Savannah was saying, but something has happened here. Someone's done something. This is a lot of data that's just sitting there. And so we really need to get rid of that. That clearly is a mistake that happened. Versus if you had one that kind of went up, like you said, there's probably a bug in something. I had customers who didn't even realize that their Lambda application wasn't processing data properly because it was running out of, I think it was memory or time. And so it was failing halfway through the upload. And so it was just constantly happening all the time. And that's why it started to go up. So if you set up a lifecycle policy to remove these, maybe give it like a 7-day window so that you can actually see some of this data for a little bit. And then if it starts to trend, then it might just stay kind of like stagnant. It might even, yeah, that should be fun. But yeah, it's a good example. Or and creating, you said EBS volumes. I've had a customer before who they would spin up their whole application, do some patching and then turn it down. But what would happen is when they turn it down, it would detach the volume. And then when it span back up, they would reattach a volume. They make a new volume to attach. And so they thought they were like really, really frugal with turning it off over these periods of time they didn't need it. But they actually had about $60,000 worth of idle EBS volumes because of this. And it was
Mothman's flapping. That's a really big harbinger of doom stuff.
that's very big. I looked down and I was just
Yeah, just a quick shout out for the FinOps folks in the room who are maybe a little bit less familiar with the S3 console. Storage Lens lives within the S3 service console, so definitely go check it out because it gives you a lot of really good information about your storage.
yeah.
All right, Steph, we got
Brilliant.
one more.
We got one more. It's the big one. It's actually maybe not a monster. Maybe it is the future of our civilization. But we're struggling with it these days, and we understand that as a society. And this one is acting a bit like humans. They sound human-like. They're a bit uncanny valley, but it is potentially our future civilization. And so how do we optimize this? We have done some big episodes on Gen AI and how to optimize it. One thing I wanted to shout out was when you go into, if I say CloudWatch open, no, CloudWatch, you can have a look at the default dashboard, which if you are like, I know my companies, I start saying that bedrock spend creep up. I'm not really sure what's going on. There is this bedrock one that will just exist. And so in here, you can start to see who's doing what. Let's do still data. We can start to see who's using it. So in here, when I see these hashes, that means they have an inference profile. So someone's using it and we can start to specify who's using Bedrock. And in that you could tag. So I really recommend, we've spoken about this before, but inference profiles, this is how you know people are using it. Otherwise, you just see this. You just see this generic usage, which is hard to do. But in here, you can start to see the tokens that are going in, where it's kind of coming from. In one of these views, there's also a blog somewhere about creating views that show you what the input tokens are. So these are not native, but you can see that a lot of my calls are very small. So they only have kind of, most of my calls are under the big threshold of tokens. If you started to see tokens that are above this, you're going to want to go and say like, what's happening? Why is this so big? You're utilizing your entire context window. You need to kind of small things up. Can you use things, other services? Can you use more specifically trained things like agents to go and do the job? Or are you adding kind of everything in? So go and check out the default. All right, we've done a lot of monster slaying there. We should be, I think, very proud. Very proud of
Happy
our
Halloween, man.
Yeah, but in the chat, let us know what was your favorite monster we slayed. And if you're watching us on demand, let us know there as well. But someone said, great show, educational and fun. It's AI or something out of a dystopian future. I get the feeling. With that, we're going to do our secret riches summary. The invisible man, you could say. I thought it was funny. Let's see what secret riches summary is. These are at the episode, end of every episode, and he's listened to us and given us a nice little summary, so you can always fast forward to the end to see what we spoke about. Here we go. Cost optimization catches zombies in a flash. Don't be silly and stuff your resources like a clown car. You do want to. You want to stuff everything in there. You do want to be silly. Shine sunlight on vampires with kudos. That's good. I like that. And save your silver by managing your license levels. Great
Oh.
game. Brilliant. We love it. Thank you. Also, last little call out things from our team. You want to go over to the customer acceleration team. That's the LinkedIn page. You can see all of the summaries and our other shows. If you want to find out what's happening on our episodes of Twitch, go on Builder Center, the Keys Database Optimization. If you want to see about my other show, Build on AWS. Also on the TNC channel this Friday around this time, I will be doing a live stream about getting your GenAI or preparing you for your GenAI practitioner certificate. So if you're interested in learning about those aliens, then join that stream. And finally, if this is the right way, make sure if you're coming to reInvent to check out Savannah's talk, this one, COP339.
Yep.
And then you can also check me out at Dev318. And where's my other one? COP 401. So check out those talks for the team. With that, man, we've got the last 2 minutes. Anything else you want to say to the folks watching?
Don't be scared to start optimizing. It can look like a big scary monster, but it's really not. Just start small. Do one thing at a time and use the tools that you've got available at your fingertips within console. Leverage your available resources outside of console as well. You can always watch a lot of materials on YouTube or on Twitch or wherever you like to find your content, and learn more about some of these things that maybe seem a little scary at first, but actually are not that monstrous.
Yeah. And my tip is going to be like the Scooby Gang in Buffy. Don't do it by yourself. Go and work with other people. Get a range of skill sets involved. Not every single person is going to be a slayer. Not everyone should be. You should be so specific about the role that you take in this, whether you're kind of gathering the information or you're executing it. Everyone should have their parts, and there should be that paper trail so you can solve the mystery. And the big thing as well is make sure when you're doing these things, you need to go to the source of stuff. I'm trying to think of a pun to get to it, but you don't want to constantly have a new monster every week you have to take out that keeps coming back. You want to make sure that you get to the root of things, fix a problem, and that way you can go kind of off into the sunset monster free. And with that, we'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your Halloween, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.